Hello and welcome to the program, our special coverage on the ongoing protests. My name is Medina Azaki. Now don't forget, today is the 6th day of the protest and the protest is still continuing in some part of the country. In some other states there's been a curfew, Kaduna and Kano, and in some other places it has been relaxed. Some of the states that are worst hit during this protest is Kano State, Jigawa, Maiduguri and Yobe. Today we are going to be looking at the cost implication of this protest. How much was lost, how much was destroyed, and how this will affect the economy as well as the inflation rate. I'm being joined in the house by my special guest as usual. I have Mrs. Kate Richard. She's the founder of Community Hope Foundation. And I also have Mrs. Anna Olubumi, who is a nurse with the emergency unit. University of Jos Teaching Hospital. Ladies, many thanks for joining us on the program again.
Thank you for being here.
All right. But before I go to my ladies in the house, we'll take a short break. And when we return, we'll be joining Yusha Aliu, our in-house economist, to keep us up to speed as to how much the economy has lost in the last couple of days, ever since this protest has started. We'll be back after the break. Stay with us. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Malayusha Aliu, good to join you. Good to join us on the program again.
Thank you very much, Ajahn.
Yes. Where you are, what is the situation like?
The situation is relatively calm, but with a lot of grievances and anxiety because there is enough security and also the youth are still angry and hungry. That is just the truth.
Is there a protest going on in your area now? That's Kaduna Road, exactly, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The situation is under control. People are going about their normal businesses, but the truth of the matter is that people are still grumbling. People are still hungry, like I told you. But there is no any alternative rather than to allow peace to reign.
Okay, so let's go back to the economy, the one that is worst hit ever since this protest started. If we're going to go into figures, how much has the economy lost in the last 6 days?
You know, before even the start of the strike, I have explained in this channel that there has been a conservative estimate of losing over 400 billion in naira terms. That is without even consideration of looting and other economic vices. So the situation, the first and second day recorded the highest loss based on conservative estimate of around 700 billion. So if you now quantify this to a number of days, which include, like I said in the earlier, you consider banks not working, you consider financial institutions of all kind not working, you consider market close, you consider a lot of hurdles in transportation, and you also consider big economic cities, Lagos, Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, and others. You find a relatively very high cost that has been inflicted to the economy.
Let's look at the man on the street, the everyday man, the one that has to go out to make a living before he feeds. What is the situation today?
The situation is multiple hunger because people are trying to at least even look for what to eat. They cannot have, and even their neighbors doesn't have. Like I will tell you that this morning, I only God knows how many accounts were sent to me for assistance, and that shows that a lot of households are not comfortable, especially those who are to visit hospital, or not only to eat. Those who are to visit hospital, their numbers in high. Yesterday I was in the hospital and I saw how people are trooping in, and all is associated with hunger and malnutrition, and because poor health conditions generate to general defect in health sector generally. So we have seen a lot of videos of people stammering because of hunger, and that is just the situation everywhere. Because if you are to go out, the places to go out is locked. Your neighbor doesn't have, you don't have. So the last option is just to adopt natural way of suffering, eating, living without eating, and it is very dangerous.
All right, let's look at the implication of this to an economy that is already struggling. Is this in any way going to drive us into recession? Because if we're losing about 700 billion in just 6 days, is it going to drive us into recession, considering the fact that some of the states that are worst hit, like Kano, Jigawa, Maiduguri, and Yobe, who are also going to be laying a lot of workers, a lot of people are going to be jobless because their places of work have been raised down. Are we going to enter recession for an economy that is struggling?
Madina, when you listen to what President Tinubu explained to Nigeria in his speech on Sunday, you realize that he is counting on economic gains in terms of revenue generation and sharing. You also realize that the economy is not suffering. It's only Nigerians that are suffering, because making 9 trillion addition to the income, you will not be speaking about recession. So, and also I want to take you back. Nigerian economy was locked down in 2020 as a result of corona.
Yeah.
And that was it's a total lockdown without even some economies working. So in the situation on ground now, people are struggling even to go back to their businesses. Artisans are going back to their workshops. A lot of people are going back, opening their shops, because there is no any alternative. And I don't think it will lead us to recession. Only that our problem is compounded. It's compounded because the youth are shouting for absence of food. And you remember, Medina, in 2022, in 2023 December, we specifically informed Nigerians the situation they are going to face. You remember that perfectly, because we said the greatest danger that is approaching the economy is when subsidy is permanently or completely removed.
Yes.
That is when Nigeria will face reality of what is whether this subsidy is including them or is not including them. And Nigerians were brainwashed. I have said in one media station yesterday that Nigerians were misguided as far as this subsidy is concerned. And the first misguidance that came to the mind of Nigeria was that statement by former president, who is subsidizing who. So people, because of trust, they hold on to that and believe that this subsidy is only meant for few individuals. And when it was perfectly removed in July 2022, they were not, they were adamant to understand the implication until when prices of PMS change, prices in the market changes, shortages of food. I have been crying for 7 years that our borders that we refuse food to come in is going to degenerate. It's going to cause hunger in this country.
But the issue of opening border has been solved one way. The federal government has given waivers to importers of wheat, rice, and other consumable for the next 150 days. That is 5 months. So the issue of border closure has been solved to some extent.
Have you been to the Federal Minister of Finance looking for a waiver to import 1 or 2 things? Have you been there?
I am not an importer, so I won't go there.
I have been there.
Are you an importer now?
Listen, Haji Amadera, let us not misguide the society. I was
We're
there.
not misguiding the society. We are speaking
And
together,
that is
and
why
I'm
I'm
trying to
telling
get.
you, and that
We're
is why
trying to
I
educate the society, isn't
I
it?
am trying to tell you that I was there. I have applied. And at the end of the day, we paid this waiver. We paid because we cannot continue to pay demurrage because of administrative lapses.
When was that? When did you pay? When?
We paid last week. We
Okay.
paid last week. Over 100 million was paid to custom to clear our goods at the dry port in Kaduna.
So
We
it
imported
means. So
boilers
it means.
for rice mill
Hold
to
it.
expand our capacity.
So it means that the policy has not started working.
That is what I am trying to guide Mr. President to know, that there should be efficiency in any policy adjustment, not just pronouncement. If you make pronouncement and at the end of the day, administrative lapses are collapsing whatever hope the ordinary Nigerian has, then it's coming back to the same government, it's coming back to the same society. And that is exactly the situation. Like I was telling you, if borders are open, it's a different thing. Importing food, people stand on their legs that food cannot be imported. But they have forgotten the fact that since 2014, when our agricultural production was stable, when inflation was stable, when unemployment was stable, Nigeria still import to augment the metric ton shortages. And today, population has increased, banditry has increased, bad roads has increased, cost of input has increased. A lot of multipliers that can never bring prices down are already on ground. So there is need for us to understand the large number of our societies. I am just coming back from Enugu last 3 days, and I have seen probably on the road and the different cities that we pass, people anywhere you go speaking about food. That is not the history of Nigeria. People must have food in their reserves. Like I said, whoever told you that there is food in Nigeria, tell him that all households in his community should be empowered to go to market to buy food and see whether he will see food that will remain in the market. And
Aliu, the question will be, what happened to our food reserves? What happened to them?
I am not in charge of food reserve, but all I'm telling you is that youth and Nigerian people are on the street crying of hunger.
Okay, now we're at a crossroad. The protesters are saying, bring back subsidy, end hunger, and bad governance. The president in his speech reaffirms that subsidy is gone forever. So where are we now?
That is the message which he has mistakenly told Nigerians in May 2023. And I have, on that very day, called his attention that is going to backfire. Based on one reason, Nigerians need to be guided and educated. Subsidy was removed on 1st of July 2022 with the signing of Petroleum Industry Act. It is that act that now spelled out what will happen about investment in oil, investment in general infrastructure and other social services, including the agreement to attend to oil producing areas. That was where subsidy is erased from Nigerian history, and it was celebrated. And the second phase was in January 2023 to May 2023, because we advised government, including myself and you, in one of your program, Economic Matters, and we told them that, look, if you allow prices of PMS to change based on the PIA position, definitely even APC will not win election. Buhari and his former ministers technically inject over 3.1 trillion to cushion the effect and hand over to the next president, who is Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
So what is the solution now? Malaysia Ali, what is the solution now?
The solution is hunger. The solution is hunger. There is no food. Government should facilitate. All the agencies in charge of bringing in food to Nigeria, it should be brought. Government also must prefer to bring input to reduce cost of input, so that farmers can access cheaper input, so that they can continue to produce, so that at the end of the day we have food at cheaper rates. That is one. The second one, the multiplier effect of PMS, we are producing 1.6 million barrels every day. What stops us from using 650,000 to the capacity of Dangote and any other refinery around Nigeria to refine this product, so that we will go out of foreign exchange crisis, so that we can go out of these exorbitant PMS prices, so that prices can go down? These are the two measures that, if it is properly coordinated with efficiency, there is going to be change.
But the government has said they'll be giving the Dangote refinery 450,000 barrels per day. Do you think that will bring down the price of PMS in any way?
We want to see the supply first. If we see the supply, we see the production, then I will now come back and talk to you. I have told when Dangote refinery was commissioned, I was the person that was interviewed by TVC. It is there on YouTube. Check Economist Ishaw Aliu on TVC on Dangote refinery. You will have all my response a year ago. And these are things that we have been saying with facts and figures. Definitely it will change. But if there is no efficiency in bringing the supply, in channeling the supply, and also there is no checks and balances between Dangote and independent marketers and the distributed mechanisms, definitely problem will exist. So there should be a framework that will monitor the supply to Dangote, monitor Dangote to the supply of domestic use in the country, and at the same time also to perfect other refineries to be functioning.
What kind of inflation rate are we going to see this time around, and what will be the effect on household? Are we going to see an inflation edging to 35, 36%? For over 2 years, I am telling Nigerians, so far, CBN is increasing monetary policy rate. Inflation will continue to grow because no investor will borrow money in Nigeria at a high percentage and expect the price of his good to come down until central bank holds the increase in MPR, because it is unorthodox to contain MPR increase in every 30 days. And that is what we have been seeing in the last 36 months. They are doing to control inflation, and inflation is above 34.67%. And what we have seen in relation to the protests, will the protests in any way increase the inflation that we already have?
What do you do with the destructions in the supply chains, the vandalization of resources? What is the cost of that to the economy? How do you bring back capital to many people? How do you expect them to recoup the money lost?
Yes. And that is my last line of question. How do you get capital back to the people who are worst hit? What will be the immediate solution to those people who have lost everything?
The immediate solution is to protect vulnerables from the attack of the youth from hunger. A hungry man is an angry man. A hungry man is an angry man. And the youth, nobody can tell you that he is having even a proper diet, those even who are consuming food. So the truth of the matter is that we have to urge government to quickly supply enough food that will start bringing prices of food down. There is no way you are producing food in Nigeria, and food inflation is 44.87%. Higher than any other component of inflation in Nigeria, and you still believe that you can get rid of this situation. And like I said initially, when cost of input, NPK 50 kilogram fertilizer costing 45 to 50,000, how do you expect a farmer to sell?
But don't forget, when subsidy was removed, some of us felt that it should be channeled to the agricultural sector, so that we can have reduction in the prices of fertilizer, inputs, and farm equipment. That didn't obviously happen. And here we are today. But I want to ask you, as we wind down, for those who have lost their businesses, who have employers up to 50 to 100 personnel, what should the government be doing right now for them?
Government cannot do anything right now for any investment. Government, the crisis that is facing Nigeria is cost of living crisis. Solve this one first, then we go to the next chapter of trying to save businesses. The issue now is how to save life from the street, life in the home, and life also within the existing investment. It is when you stabilize that one that you go to the next one. You cannot, like in Hausa, probably you know you are sure by tribe, but in Hausa they say ba good one Susan Katari. What you are to do now, you must do it, or else if you put many things on ground, you succeed at nothing.
All right. Malaysia Aliu, as we round up, when you consider the loss to the economy and the destruction so far, is this protest justified?
We cannot. I cannot be justifying protest, but we have highlighted cost of living crisis, and cost of living crisis is coming in different form. And if it is coming in different form, government has tried all possible manners to stop it. It cannot be stopped completely. So there is need for government to listen to what we are telling them.
But has the protest achieved anything?
It has communicated to the government, because there was communication breakdown between the youth and the government. When the government is trying to show them economic successes, the youth are telling Mr. President they are hungry. So the president has to understand the hungry aspect before the youth will understand the economic success recorded.
All right. Malaysia Aliu, I'm afraid we just have to leave it here. Thank you very much always for your time.
Thank you.
And that's Yusha Liu, our in-house economist, talking to us on the cost of the economy as far as the protest is concerned. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be discussing more with my guests in the house. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. We just finished with our in-house economist, and we're back to our discussion. Yeah, so let me go to my guest in the house. We all listened to Yusha Liu and how he broke it down for us as far as the economy is concerned. Let me start with Mrs. Anna. Households are the ones that are hit most as far as this protest is concerned, especially for people, everyday people who have to go out to make a living. How do you think their situation will be right now?
Their situation is going to be very, very pathetic. Very pathetic in the sense that some people have to go to the market, sell first. After selling, they come back with what they are going to eat for that day. There is no opportunity now. So what will happen? They will go into begging. If you beg in somebody's house today, you will be afraid, or you'll be shy to go and beg the next day. So what is the situation? Is the situation some people will even rather stay with hunger, or they will eat what is available. Assuming you are a diabetic now, you have to go to the market, sell, and maybe buy acha or potato to come and eat, and there's no opportunity. You have nothing to do apart from maybe to eat rice, which will invariably make your sugar level to be high, which will invariably lead you to the hospital. And then you don't have money, you are landing in the hospital, which means you are going into another problem, because when you go to the hospital, you still have to pay. So let me come back to the market women. There are also the people like that. They will have to go to the market. Somebody has things on ground, like maybe people selling potato, they have potato on ground, but they have to go to the market to sell the potato in order to buy oil or pepper to come and cook.
I'm asking you, especially for those women who trade either potato, or they sell kose, or they sell one or two things to be able to keep their family going on. Today the protest is 6 days. In your own state, Jos, there's been a curfew since day before yesterday. So it means that woman or that man, that everyday woman or that everyday man will have to eat their capital to survive. So
Yes.
it means after protest, there will be nothing for them to do.
Yes, there will be nothing for them to do because they have eaten the capital. So the best is they will have to manage. You know, you cannot eat your capital, or no matter what. You will just be assuming by His grace, maybe tomorrow they will call off. Then at the same time, you don't need to eat your capital.
But
You
in the
have
process
to.
of assumption, and you don't have an extra income, the capital is the only thing that you have.
Well, if
And
you
so
eat,
if hunger comes knocking, extreme hunger, it means the capital will go.
yes, if the capital go, you have to go and borrow to start all over because you must try to survive in this our present economy, no matter whatsoever the situation is. You must try to survive.
Let me come back to your field. Our last caller said he went to the hospital yesterday and he saw a number of people who are ill due to hunger, due to malnutrition. So it means more pressure for the hospitals, more pressure for the emergency department, more pressure for nurses like you. How are you guys going to cope with all of this pressure?
Well,
Aside from those who will be wounded as a result of, stray bullets or clashes here and there.
for the nutrition aspect of it, to be candid, when we saw people with malnutrition, more especially, we used to go to extra miles. Yes, because we don't go out of our homes without extra money. So if we don't have food to eat, we try our possible best. The doctors we bring, the nurses we bring, even the attendant too used to contribute. Say, let us buy food for this person. We used to go extra miles to provide food for them because once there is crisis, you know, it means their relations are not coming. It means this patient at your mercy. At times we come with our food, we have to give the patient to eat, so that at least it will sustain them pending. At times, even when you are catch up with the crisis situation and in the hospital, at times hospital provide food for us. We share with the patient. If there are situations that we cannot share, we will take soft drink. Then we give them the food to eat. Then we advise. We seek for help from. There are people that comes around. We seek for help from them. They will help their patients. They will help most of these patients that are having issues with eating. Then there's a portion in the hospital too that deals with malnutrition. Malnutrition normally.
How are you going to cope with the pressure?
No matter what, we will still survive. We will try our possible best. We will know that we will have dependents. Some of them will even be in the hospital when the crisis will catch up with them and they will have nothing to eat. We will still, at times, we even have to go to our department to complain for them, or we have to go to the management extra miles to tell them this is what is on ground. The management always used to know what to do. They used to provide at least small for the patient.
Let me come to Madam Kate. I know from the beginning you never supported the protest. You said it would have been better to dialogue than to go on the street. And when you listen to usually in-house economists and talking about how much the economy has lost in the last 6 days and still counting, because the protesters are saying that it's going to be a 10-day protest and we are 6 days, 4 more days along the line. Do you think that the suffering of Nigerians has just started? Like he also said.
No, yes, we can say it's very obvious. There's hunger in the land. Yes, people are hungry, but as I will always say, and I still maintain my stand, that there are still better ways to go about it. So if we have lost about 700 billion, the 700 billion we've lost for this protest could have been channeled in a manner where it will caution, it will reduce the effects of the hunger.
Is it a 1-1 for one for the protesters, one against for the federal government? Because the federal government continue to talk about the revenue that they are going to generate, and here they are losing 700 billion. So the protesters will be saying is 1-1. Yes, we didn't get what we wanted, but you have also lost revenue generation.
If it is a 1-1, then who is losing at the end of the day? They said, who is losing? I don't think federal government is a name that belongs to the government and the masses. Is an institution that stands for both the poor and the rich. And when you damage your own economy, you that are supposed to benefit from it, you should be the one that are losing, not the government. That was why some of us still maintain the fact that Despite we are in the sixth, today is the sixth day, there's still room for us to call off the protest and then to see what we can do and to check the lesson learned and go back to the drawing board. What have we benefit and what have we lost? How do we go about it now? How is the protest going on when there is a strike? There is a curfew. How do you protest? Okay, about 4 or 5 states that I know are already on a curfew, totally 24 hours curfew. So how do you protest? You only affect, your economy is being affected. The poor person you think you're protesting for cannot go out to sell. If there are people, just as my
Yes, that's
auntie
the next
has
question I'm
mentioned.
coming to. An entrepreneur like you and many
Yes.
others outside.
Yes.
6 days down the line and across the country, some under total lockdown because of the curfew, some have semi-curfew.
No.
Some of us here want to do one or two things, but we can't. We're afraid to do them. What is the way out for those kind of entrepreneurs? Because they are the ones that are worst hit.
What I would say is for the small scale businessmen that will be hit by this,
Already been hit.
they are already being hit. Yes, some people find their ways in the locality where they live. Just like the 3, 4, 5 houses around you, you can still market what you have already on ground. Because I'm saying this for those selling perishable things, just as he mentioned for potato. Potato is something that, if not well packaged, well maintained, preserved, it will be spoiled. You can't use it after some days. So it's just for you to check around you and know what you can get it. There are people that may get 1 or 2, and you can be able to sell it and hold your money when the whole situation
people will
is
have to
down.
devise strategies
You should
to
devise
market
strategy
their
on how
goods.
to market
Yeah.
your goods. You can market it within you. The
And
curfew
even
is
sell on
just
credit.
you
Because
sell
some
on
people
credit,
don't
yes,
have money to
money,
pay you
because the
back.
banks are closed when there is total curfew, total lockdown. There, the banks are closed. You can actually give to the trustworthy customers around you that when the whole thing is over, you can get your money back. But the truth still remained. Let's caution our youths and our children on this.
That is where I am coming to. I'll quickly go to Mrs. Anna. Mrs. Anna, as a mother, when you look at the level of children who have participated in this protest across board, from the north to the south to the no, let me not say the east because I didn't see a protest going on. Even in Lagos, in the south, you see children who hawk things, water, pure water, and 1 or 2 things included in the protest. In the north, you see children carrying cutlasses, some with sticks, underage children. How do you feel as a mother? Have we degenerated to that level that even our own children now participate in protest?
Believe me, that aspect is lawlessness. Why I say lawlessness is they say charity begins at home. You as a mother will not be happy to see your own child carrying cutlass, knife, stick, going to hit who? If you didn't bring up your child, they say bring up your child in the way of the Lord, and when he grows up, he will not depart from it.
But you told me from the beginning that you support protest.
I support
so
protest.
the protest
Wait.
organizers didn't foresee
I support
this
protest.
challenge of having children on the street, because they are supposed to streamline who is qualified to protest. Isn't that how it's supposed to be?
That's how it's supposed
and that
to
there should be an age bracket of people who participate in protest. Once you are not 18 years, you don't have any business on the street. So it means the protesters like you, I don't think you are the leader of a protest, but
She's she's someone that is also protesting.
protesting. It means you people didn't do your homework well.
We did our I will not say we did our homework. I'm not part of it, but me, I like the protest. I like it because things are expensive.
You like the protest, but now you are seeing children on the
Yes,
street.
but I'm seeing children, but I'm not happy. Let me be sincere. I'm not happy because if you train your child very well in the way that a child should behave, none of my child will come out and pick stick or cutlass to go and protest. So I'm telling those parents that they didn't train their children very well. And those there are engineers of this protest.
But how will you talk to those parents who are extremely hungry, who do not have food in their houses, and they say,
How do you control even a child that is hungry?
So that's where the question will be.
If that I have such people around me, I'll ask them to come. I will know what to do, because I will, no matter
have food
what,
to go around for
it will not
everybody.
go around, but I will give them small. I will sit them, I will caution them, I will talk to them, because there is danger in whatsoever they are doing. Because in the process of cutting somebody with that cutlass, the thing can come back to you. Because if you cut somebody and it was bigger than you, because you see those small children, gaskia, some people just engineer them to do those things, and to me it's rubbish. I support protests, but I did not support what happened in Gombe. I did not support what happened in Kano. I did not support what happened in Maiduguri.
And
In
Kaduna
Lagos,
yesterday, yes.
it was really bad. But
So
in Lagos, they were adults. They were adults. They were able to come out and voice up. We're supposed to come out, carry our placard, and voice up. Not
So Hajia,
I know,
you support.
I know Madam Kate is itching to jump into it, because she never supported the protest in the first place. Now we have children protesters, children who are hungry and angry on one part. So they will say they are protesting for them is also justified. But where they got the arms to go on the streets is where the problem is. So it means the protesters didn't do their homework well, or it got out of their hands. They said it's one thing for you to start something, and it's another thing for you to be able to even control it. We saw in Kaduna yesterday where people are on the PSC, the armor, tank, and they're going round with it. Even though the report that we had was that the officer who was driving it entered into the protest, and they had to
He has to be more civil.
he has to be more civil, and so that he could not cause any harm. And that once he started heading to the police station, everybody jumped down. So it was that safe yesterday. But even the picture that you see and the video, what does it tell us as a society? That is this how we have degenerated? That people are not afraid of anything anymore?
So what I can say about this is, when we say come and dialogue, we are not matured. We are not
matured for protest.
For that protest. Nigeria is too big for this, because we've already seen.
Do we need a school of protest?
We don't need a school of protest, but then our maturity, there should be more enlightenment about it. People are not that enlightened. You just told them there is hunger and come on the street. So a woman that cannot feed her children, maybe they were at home asking her for food, asking her for one or two things. When they are off the street, she won't hear cry from them again. When I was saying that, the people, as she said, that train up your child. How do you train up your child that he cannot carry arms? Yes, there are other options. When people are shouting, there is hunger, there is this in the land, I still disagree with them in the sense that there are still work. There are still people that you can actually go to their farm today. They are willing to pay 500 naira per a piece that you can actually just wait and get up to that. So if I have 5 children and I think I cannot afford my food for that day, and I take them to a farm, to somebody that I know needs this service of these children, we should not wait and fold our hand that everything, all the food we need in our table should come from the government. Secondly, you say this to some extent.
No, I think that the protest or the cry is to reduce the cost of food. It is not to put food on the
That is
table.
why I still maintain my stand.
Because you cannot have a food price inflation about 44 point something %, and maybe after all of this protest it will be about 50%. So the protest is bring down the cost of food.
Hajia, you and I has already agreed.
Food on my table,
Hajia,
on your table.
You and I has already agreed that some of these issues are not even being made by the government. These are issues that we should educate ourselves more better.
Artificial,
yes, it's artificial. Yes, because we are Nigerians like taking advantage of situations. We can't run away from that fact. Nigerians like taking advantage. I told you that 2 days before this protest, everything in the market changed, all the prices, because people were believing if there will be lockdown, let me seize the opportunity and then make money from it. It's just like the day the president announced the total removal of subsidy. People, the fuel that were in filling station were not being bought without subsidy, but the price just went off.
skyrocketed,
Yes. So these are things that we should talk to ourselves. I think people should be we should be educating ourselves more, rather than putting blame on government. Always government has done this. Government cannot come to your house and tell you this is how
But
to
we have
manage
said
your
it
home.
a number of times on this program is because there is no price control.
Yes.
There is no regulation.
I
And
think
that is why everybody can take advantage of the system.
that's where the patriotism
If we
should
had-
come in.
Yes, but we talked about patriotism.
Yes,
yesterday,
if we are
and we said,
patriotic and then
how
there is
many
love for your-
percentage- Hold it. How many percentage of people are patriotic about their country today? You could talk to somebody and you say Nigeria is not worth dying for. That's the simple.
That should not even be
no,
in the
it
first
shouldn't
place.
be. But this is how people are angry and frustrated and hopeless about the system, because today you are a local government on your own. You provide your water, you provide your electricity, you provide your hospital, you provide everything that
No,
you need to move. Yes, because you don't get any free service anywhere, whether you're in the village or you're in the town. You have to do everything by yourself. And that is one thing that
I don't
has
understand. Maybe you
reduced
specify. Do
Okay.
everything by yourself,
Yes.
because
Today,
at the
hold it.
local level we have PHC hospitals,
Hold it.
we have
Today,
waters.
you have, if you are not in a city like Abuja or maybe some of the privileged cities, you must have a borehole in your house, provided with your own money. If you're going to the hospital today, you just gave us an example yesterday. You said you had to pay 20,000 for a
foreign-
service that is not worth anything in a general hospital, a government-owned hospital. You have to pay your own money. Now you want to go to any other thing, road. Sometimes the road that is leading to your estate or to your house, all of you will have to put money together to make the road motorable. And you pay tax to the federal government. So where will the patriotism be? Because you now realize that the tax that you are being paying to the federal government has not provided any service for you.
Hajia, how many people are
No, I'm
paying
just
tax
talking
today
to-
in
yes,
Nigeria?
a lot of people are
And then
paying.
let's be fair, that most of these members, House of Assembly, National House of Assembly members, there is no community today, to be very fair. You go to that, there is no borehole being sunk by a member House of Reps or by a senator.
That's not
To
true.
be fair to
we
them.
Saw
No,
community, no, hold it. We saw communities where a senator dug wells in
Well,
Kogi State. Yes, it was
okay.
all over the
In
social
my
media.
states, in my
wells,
states.
not borehole. So you can speak for your state. But you
In
can't
my
speak for
state,
every other
almost,
state.
there is a member House of Reps
Yeah.
that is representing about 3 states. I think he made it a duty that in each polling unit, any polling unit, he dug a borehole there. And apart from that, like in my community where I live, it's not a city, it's not a federal ward. In my village, there is more than 5 boreholes there. Some are being dug by the senator, some by the member House of Reps, and some by even a councillor have dug a borehole from his project. So it's something that sometimes we only come out and say the negative aspect of some things.
In your community, you have boreholes, understandable.
Yes.
But let me come to Mrs. Anna. Mrs. Anna lives in Jos. She's down there at the grassroots level. She connects with people every day. Mrs. Anna, how many boreholes are there in your community dug by government officials? Let's even start from there.
There is no borehole.
Okay.
There's no borehole in my community. I made my borehole myself. Even in Abuja here, I made my borehole myself. In my village, it was the community that contributed money to do borehole in the front of my grandfather's house. So there is no borehole anywhere in my
You don't expect people that homes in GRAs. You don't expect government to go and knock on your
What is
door.
the responsibility of government?
No, there are pipe water. If she can say the truth,
now.
where she lives,
Hold
there's a
it.
pipe bomb water. I
What
live
is
on
the
that community
responsibility-
too.
What is the responsibility of government?
The responsibility of government is to provide social amenities. Yes, but then in the same, because if she can, there is water. There is running water in her community,
Is it wrong
provided by the
for
government.
Hold it. Is it wrong for government to provide these social amenities across board?
No, government is
Whether
doing
you are
that.
in
Let's
the
be
village
fair to them.
or
They
in
are
the
doing
local government.
in
So
the
what is
cities.
the percentage?
In the cities, I can give them 75%.
Where? In your community?
In
or
the
where?
cities, there are general hospitals, there are teaching hospitals, there are specialist hospitals being controlled by government, being paid, staffed, and everything paid by government.
But you
There are
pay.
PHC
But you
hospitals.
pay for services.
That is because I met a corrupt and unpatriotic Nigerian that wants to blame the government. Within even his own community, within where he works, he was not even being patriotic. So we should speak about them. That was why I brought about that scenario that happens to me. We cannot just be blaming government every day. Government has done this, government has done that. Government, to be fair to them, hospitals, if government will remove her hand in the hospital today, a lot of people will be dying because a lot cannot afford private hospitals. I am on my own. I can afford private hospital, but she can testify that I don't visit private hospitals. I go to government hospital because I believe the service there is good and what the machines there are still functional.
Because she works with a general hospital, she works with a government hospital.
Yes.
She's saying that if government decide to withdraw its support to government hospitals, a lot of people will die. What is the level of patriotism in government hospitals that people will have to pay through their nose to get services done?
They are still better.
People are praying through their nose to get services being rendered to them. To be sincere, because from your card you have to pay for your card, pay for the service. For the service of the person removing your card.
Pay for government
from there you have to
services?
pay for the doctor that is seeing you. You have to pay. You have to go and buy your syringes and needle. You have to go everything. You must pay for everything.
Why?
Even in PHC that I went to in Dadinkowa, you have to go and pay for everything. You must pay for everything. Yeah, well, the only one that you will not pay is maybe the one they not said sorry, you'll be okay, you'll be fine. That is meaning she's using her voice to say sorry to you, and maybe the one the doctor will say, no, don't worry, you will come out of it. Maybe that's the only services. But everything you must pay. Everything you must pay.
Why should Nigerians pay for
Well, that is how we met ourselves, because it has not been like that before. Before you are being treated before, maybe you pay just small bill, but now you have to pay for everything.
You said before now, so what happened along the line?
Corruption.
Thank you.
Corruption.
Thank you.
As we
She just spoke my mind.
As we are rounding up, we have a few minutes to go. As we're rounding up, everybody is blaming corruption, but everybody is not trying to remove his or herself from corruption. Yes, we can all sit down here and blame corrupt officials, blame everybody, but if we have an opportunity, to steal, we will do exactly what the people outside are doing. So what exactly should the government do to kill corruption completely in Nigeria? Because somebody will tell you can't even kill corruption, but you can reduce it to a level.
The truth is that we should, like what she said, the government are the one paying staff, paying everybody at the end of the day. So most of this policy, all this money is being gingered and is being controlled by the management and the top government, the top management staffs there. Everybody, a CMD will come today with his own policy. Tomorrow, another one will come with his own policy. So you could know that this lack of patriotism, and then we inflicting this pain on our own people that we are interacting or coming in contact with day to day. How should you pay for a doctor that is seeing you? Meanwhile, that same doctor is being paid by the government. So if we can just sit down and then look around, I think the government have to come in this and to educate people more, maybe to hold the heads responsible to some of these things. By doing that, I think some of these excesses will be caught.
How do you think the government can fight corruption? We've had a number of agencies. Every president that comes in will say, my target is to fight corruption. And we have not reduced it to any level. Is it that as a people, now corruption is in our DNA and it's going to be very difficult to remove it?
Corruption might not be in our DNA, but the government as well can try its own possible bit to be educating people about corruption. And then to punish those that are corrupt. If you are a corrupt person or they caught you in the act of corruption, they can as well punish you. By the time they saw Mr. A being punished, Mr. B will be cautioned of it. But if you are not being punished, it's another thing. So people should know that corruption is not good. We should try. They said change begins with me. Let me change so that Mr. B too will change. Some of us cannot be corrupt because the nature of our work is the type that you cannot collect money.
What kind of punishment would you recommend? Is it a capital punishment? The one we see in China and other countries?
When capital punishment are being made, a lot of people will be cautioned of what they do.
Do you support it?
I support capital punishment because it will caution a lot of things. And this capital punishment will be good for Nigerians because Nigerians dare you. Whatever you come with it, highest is that. I've seen people that I will steal. somebody that packed billions of naira, hundreds of billions, highest is to go to prison for 2 years. If he comes out, he still have his money, and he can fly his children and his family out to go and enjoy this money. So, but then, when you know that if you are being caught, there is a capital punishment for you. You can't even live to enjoy the proceeds of this corruption. Then people will be very, very cautious of how they manage public funds.
Okay, so capital punishment is the way to go.
Is the way to go.
All right, ladies, I'm afraid we just have to leave it here. I like to thank you so much for being with us on the program and sharing your thought with us. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And that is the size of our package today. Do join us tomorrow, same time, same station. For me, Medina Azaki, and the whole team here, it's bye for now.